25% of people die before 67, which is kind of scary, actually. We may not even be here to enjoy any of this money we've saved. Your best years are behind you before you even set one foot into retirement. It's a mistake. Most financial advisors will tell you that 67 is your optimal time that you should retire. Maximize your Social Security, increase your 401k, and that's great. And it talks about the money side of retiring, but it doesn't talk about the biological side of retiring. In our previous few videos, we've been laying out the case about why you should consider retiring before 67. And today, I'm going to pull it all together, give you some additional statistics and talk about some of the things that we've already talked about in our previous videos, and give you why I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a mistake if you don't retire before 67.
Away we go traveling.
If you're interested, we have 3 or 4 videos prior to this that are in the early retirement series we started doing, and we'll link those in the description. If you like this content, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button for us. We'd appreciate that. And you can subscribe if you're interested in more early retirement and full-time travel content. All right, a statistic that should probably bother most of us is this 67 retirement thing, but 25% of people die before 67. So, you may have this plan that you're going to retire at 67, but you may never get there. 1 out of 4, which is kind of scary, actually. So if we lose 1 in 4 before 65, what happens after? Well, we lose another 20% between 65 and 75, 27 more percent from 75 to 85. And then we get, I think, another 27 or 28% above 85, which is great. I mean, that means a quarter of us are potentially destined to live past 85, but a significant numbers of us will not make it to 67, and almost half won't make it to 75. And when we're talking about living our early retirement, spending the best years of our life, having that clock on us that we know, hey, we might not even be here to enjoy any of this money we've saved past the age of 67, past the age of 63. I talked about in the last video a statistic about the healthy average life expectancy, the HALE, H-A-L-E, healthy average life expectancy. And for males in the US, that's 63. So what that number is basically your lifespan where you're likely free of any major disabilities or health problems. So, that's that time frame where you're really going to be in your best health. So if you're looking at retiring at 67, but we have an average HALE of 63, your best years are behind you before you even set one foot into retirement. That's not what we're looking for here. Trying to lay out the case for should you retire before 67 should be an easy one, just looking at those 2 numbers. So health concerns aside, let's talk real quick about the finances. And we talk a little bit about finances in previous videos, but I'll touch on them real quick. You obviously have to know what you want to spend in your retirement, and you have to have those numbers worked out. You have to do the math about how much you have, how much you need to have, and work that math. But if you're retiring prior to 67, there are some advantages in here, that you have access to some funds that you may not know about. For example, the rule of 55. If you leave your job and you have an IRA with that job, you're allowed to access those IRA funds in your 55th year and later, up through age 59 and a half, without penalty. So if you've got an IRA that's already in your corporate job or, whatever job it is that you had the IRA, you can actually get access to that money prior to 59 and a half. You don't have to wait around for that magic 59 and a half time frame. So that's an avenue for you. There's things like the 72T plans, which allow you to pull substantially equal payments out of your IRAs prior to age 59 and a half. In fact, you can start doing that at basically any age. You can look at the details of that, but it allows you to get access to your money well before age 60 if you need it. So there's avenues for getting your finances in order prior to, just going to full retirement age. You don't have to wait for all that. Another advantage, when you look at Medicare costs, they start looking at your income as a 2-year look back. So when you're 65, if you're 65, you try to go on Medicare, they're going to look at your income from age 63 and age 64 to start calculating what you're going to pay for Medicare. And if you're above the IRMA cap, even $1, again, it's a hard cap, you're going to pay significantly more for your Medicare when you hit 65. So if you're in these years where you've decided to retire early and you say, I'm going to pull out of the workforce a little early, your income's going to be significantly lower. When they do that look back, your Medicare payments could be significantly lower. So you may actually have an opportunity to save some money, if you leave a little bit earlier than you had expected. Another advantage you have, you can do Roth conversions. When you get to 73, I think it's age 73 right now, you're going to have required minimum distributions based on the amount of money that's in your 401ks, your IRAs. And if you can cut down on how much money you have in those and can do some conversions, some Roth conversions prior to age 73, that's going to significantly limit the amount of RMDs you have for that time frame. So you can use the years you would have been working while you have a little bit of a lower income to put some Roth conversions in place. All right, so we've had some financial advantages in here that we can talk about. We had a whole video on healthcare a couple of videos back, and it talks about all the different options you have, in particular in the United States, or if you're willing to travel overseas, if you want to do some healthcare in early retirement. I'm not going to cover all those, but just understand, if you're not working and you don't have healthcare through your job, and you keep your modified adjusted gross income under control, there's significant subsidies available to you through the ACA. And there's other programs, health shares, you've got travel insurance, Safety Wing being one of the obvious ones for traveling overseas if you're willing to have a non-traditional retirement and, do something that's a little more, not just stay at home or stay in the city that you grew up in. So there's options for healthcare as well. You don't have to let that stop you from retiring, before you're able to scoop up Medicare or have some other type of retirement plan. There are ways you can make this work for you if you look at the problems you have in advance, figure out a way to solve them. But the one thing we talked about in my last video was making sure we're taking care of our health. Obviously having a healthcare plan and how we're going to do that is great, but you need to use it and you need to take care of yourself now. We're not getting any younger, and the things that we have now that we take care of in our 40s and 50s and early 60s are going to go a long way to extending that HALE date. Instead of getting to 63, maybe we get another 6 or 7 years out of it because we've taken care of ourselves. We've gotten our regular doctor visits, and we've gotten our blood tests, and we're taking our vitamins, and we're out getting a walk. We're doing a little bit of resistance training. So health needs to be an overall plan for you, not just health care. It needs to be your overall health plan, taking care of yourself while you have this opportunity in your retirement. So lastly, we talk about this quite a bit actually, but in your retirement, you have to have a new pull. You've got to have a new thing that motivates you to get up and get out of bed. And it doesn't matter what it is, but you need to have a plan. A lot of people will they'll retire, they don't have a plan, and then they decide, you know what? I don't like doing nothing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to get a part-time job. And that's okay. If you want to do that, that's fine. But if you know in advance what your passions are and what will motivate you to get up out of bed every day, that makes your retirement much better, way more fulfilling. And in our case, we decided on full-time travel. We are traveling full-time in the US with our SUV and our 14-year-old dog Molly. Will eventually go international, but for now we're traveling in the US. And that's our pull. We've decided to discover new places, see new things, eat new food, stay in parts of the country we've never seen before. And it's important to us, and that's been our motivation. You can certainly retire just to avoid the grind. You can certainly just, I've had enough, I'm done with this, and I'll figure it out. But it's better if you retire to something, go for the thing you were really good at, go for the thing that you have done for the last 30 years, and retire to a new thing that's going to be your new passion. So while you define that new passion, and you're spending time doing new things, doesn't matter what that new thing is. One of our previous videos, I discussed about expanding your comfort zone. And when you do that, you make yourself just a little bit more resilient. You make yourself a little bit more capable of handling problems. You make yourself a little bit more stress-free, because now when you make yourself uncomfortable on purpose, you expand that comfort zone a little bit. You learn new things. And as a side effect to that, when you learn these new things, you're actually slowing time down, because as your brain is processing new experiences, new places, new people, new things, it re-enables your HD recording. It turns that brain function on that doesn't allow your brain to go in power save mode anymore and skip past it. You know, you're everything you do is new, everything you do is exciting, and your brain wants to remember it all. So you get the added experience of not only having this new passion and seeing new things, but being able to slow down time and enjoy that early retirement. So you've got to run your own numbers and see if retiring at 67 or 70 is worth an extra $800 or $1,000 a month in your Social Security and your increased 401k. Maybe it is in your case. But in our case, we decided we wanted all of our best go-go years that we could get for ourselves. You know, we ran all the numbers. We decided early retirement was for us. And I'd like to think if you take a look at it, it might be something for you as well. You have to try to go while you still have those go-go years in you. If you like this video, again, give us a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hi, puppy. I always pet a puppy. Hi. Hi. Oh, you're adorable little thing. Hi, sweet baby. Oh, you're so excited. I love puppies. You're so excited. You're so good.